Hello, a very good morning. Very good morning to you, students. Hello, students. Good morning to you. Hope you had a nice day yesterday and wish all of you a happy Dasra and my greetings for Vijayadashmi. Good morning, students. So we are going to start today's lecture. And yes, I would just like to repeat that yesterday we have had two lectures on meetings, and during the lectures we've had good interaction. We exchanged a lot of ideas. We had a discussion on meetings, why meetings are held, the purpose of a meeting. We also discussed the what is the agenda, the purpose of agenda. We practiced writing a agenda. Then we discussed what are minutes of meeting, what is the purpose of writing minutes of meeting. We also practiced writing minutes of meetings. Then also we turned our attention to ATR, which is the action taken report, and we also practiced writing the action taken report. So yesterday we had a good discussion, good problem solving, good exercise solving on related to meetings. Today also, what I propose is I've taken two tests. I've brought two tests for you, and what I would expect is that you solve these two tests. So one is writing minutes, and uh, so you can have a look at that. And before that, what I will do is that the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and the Board of Studies, they have given a syllabus to you, and I will quickly run through the notes given by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. After that, we will go for the exercises for today. So most of the things we have already done yesterday, and based on the responses, I would imagine that you've understood the concept of meetings, agenda, minutes, action taken report, and other matters related to it. So, but just for the sake of revision and like preparation for exams, so I would like to repeat whatever we've done yesterday and go through the institute's study material. So good morning. Please pay attention. So first of all, I would like to discuss and repeat the definition of a meeting. So we have studied two or three definitions. One of the definition was given by the Business Dictionary, and what they say is a meeting is defined as formal or informal deliberative assembly of individuals called to debate certain issues and problems and to take decisions. Now, there are four things which you should remember in this definition. One, that meeting can be formal or informal, right? The first thing is meeting can be formal or informal. Second, it has to be a deliberative assembly of individuals. It has to be a deliberative assembly of individuals. So they are saying individuals. So two or more people have to be there in a meeting. Third is people will come and debate certain issues and problems. The third thing is people will come and debate certain issues and problems. The fourth aspect of this definition is to take decisions. To take decisions. So the Business Dictionary's definition of meeting is defined as formal or informal deliberative assembly of individuals called to debate certain issues and problems and to take decisions. There are four elements to this definition. Please keep this in mind. The first is formal or informal. The second is it's a deliberative assembly of individuals. Third, call to debate certain issues and problems. Fourth is to take decisions. So if you understand this definition and these four phases, you would get a clear grasp of what meetings are for. Now, we also discussed what are formal meetings. Now, I've told you clearly that formal meetings are having four components. Formal meetings are also having four components. One, they are held at definite times. One, they are held at definite times. Second, they are held at a definite place. They are held at a definite place. Third, they are for a definite, usually for a definite duration, the period. And fourth is to follow an agreed upon agenda. So, what are formal meetings? Formal meetings are meetings which satisfy four conditions. Formal meetings are meetings which satisfy four conditions. The first condition is that it has to be at a definite time. Second, it has to be at a definite place. Third, it has to be for a definite duration. And fourth, it has to follow an agreed upon agenda. Now, for if I want to give an example, it will be a meeting will be held to discuss the performance of HR department, held to be held at 11 o'clock at the conference room of the third floor of the head office. This meeting will be for 4 hours, and it will be the agenda is going to be the performance of the HR department. Follow, children? Okay. So when we also spoke about classification meetings. So classification meetings can be either the corporate or non-corporate. For our syllabus, we should focus on corporate meetings, and so corporate meetings are also divided into two parts. One where it is based upon statutory provisions of law, and second where it is not based on statutory provisions of law. So statutory provisions of law, like for example, for corporate companies, whether it's a private limited company or a public limited company, you will have to have certain meetings which will be held according to the provisions of the law. So you might have a shareholders meeting, you might have an annual general meeting, you might have a extraordinary general meeting, you would have board meetings, you would have meetings of the audit committee, you would have meetings of the remuneration committee, you would have meetings of the grievances committee. So these are meetings which are held according to the statutory provisions. Now, when you the other classification is not as per the statutory provisions. So these are actually pure operational meetings. Now, any company, any organization would have operations in production, sales, marketing, HR. They would have finance functions, IT department, administration department. So those operational meetings also can be held in three types. One, within the members of that particular team. Second is the HODs, the heads of department of different departments. They will come together and have meetings. And third, it would be a cross-functional matrix of people chosen from individual departments. So you should have a grasp about what kind of meetings happen. Now we also discussed upon the requisites of a meeting. We also discussed yesterday about the requisites of a meeting. So if you remember, there are 6 requisites of a meeting. There are 6 requisites of a meeting. One, the first one is you should select the right participants. You should select the right participants. Second, you should have an agenda. Third, you should send intimation to all participants in advance. Fourth, you should have a good facilitator. 5, you should arrive at clear conclusions and formulate next steps. This would also include writing minutes of meeting and the action taken reports afterwards. And 6, every meeting should have or create opportunities for creativity and participation. So let's talk about these 6 prerequisites in little detail. The first requisite of a meeting, is select the right participants. Now, what is right participants? Now, right participants is, it of course doesn't include each and everybody in the company. It should not even include anybody, like all the heads of department. It should not unnecessarily include the board of directors. People should be chosen with extreme care. Why? Because the purpose of meetings is to debate, talk about issues and problems, and come up with solutions, right? So we do not want people who are not relevant to the point to come and attend a meeting. We do not want people who just sit and do nothing. We want people who can contribute. So what are the right people? So which ones are those? Now, the right participation in a meeting would include those people. Number one who would have the need to know, right? I'm talking about the need to know. So what is need to know? Suppose the meeting is, of the purchase department. So the head or the vice president of the purchase department, so he would need to know because, this is concerning his department. So he would have a need to know. Secondly, people who would have an authority to make decision. So head of the purchase department or the purchase manager who signs purchase orders, okay, he should be there. Third is people who would get affected by that. Like for example, any purchases would have another effect, which is payment for the creditors. So the finance team also should get involved. So the head of the finance team or some of his team members can be invited for the meeting if it is a purchase department meeting. The fourth, people who have got a view, who can think out of the box, who can give a constructive suggestion, even they can be a part of the meeting. So what happens is that the whole purpose is to have a engaged and a purposeful meeting. The reason is that you should not invite people just because you do not want to offend anybody. Because otherwise you will have people just for the sake of attending a meeting and there will be no contribution. So as far as possible, to engage in the purposeful meetings, participants must have a reason of attending, right? They should have a point of view about the issue too. Third is the need to know. Fourth is the authority to make decision. Fifth, any useful information they can provide that will add value to the discussion or lead to a conclusion. So make sure that you select the right participant. So that is the first requisite for a meeting. Second, set an agenda. Set an agenda. So what is an agenda? An agenda is a document what would actually describe the ought to be flow which should be done during the meeting. So what does the agenda do? So agenda would be a document where we state the meeting's name, the objective of the meeting, the time of the meeting, the date of the meeting, the duration of the meeting, the venue of the meeting, people who will be participating in the meeting, the speakers in the meeting, what kind of topics are going to be discussed, by whom and for what duration. It will also have somebody who would introduce or announce the start of the meeting. It would have a vote of thanks given by somebody. So what it does is it lays down a good algorithm. It lays down a good flow of all the necessary steps what have to be undertaken in the ought to be meeting, in the meeting to be held. So if you write down everything properly, if you lay down all the points properly with the flow, that who speaks after whom, for how much time, and on what topic. So what happens is that the meeting will be done in an effective way. The proceedings will be carried on in an efficient manner, and there will be a good debate. Discussions will happen in a creative way, and you will have a good decision. So second is you should set a agenda. Set a good agenda. Third, after setting an agenda, you need to intimate people. You need to intimate people who are going to be a part of the meeting. So what you should do is you should send the notice or the circular along with the agenda and explanatory notes to the people few days in advance. Now, whenever there are statutory provisions, whenever there is a Companies Act in place or other statutory provisions, so you will require to adhere to that minimum number of days which have been stipulated, right? If it's an internal meeting, give them a few days of advance intimation. So why this intimation has to go in advance is because people need to take care of their administration issues. Like suppose if it's going to be held in the head office and you are at a factory plant somewhere else, you need to travel. You might need to stay for a day, so you need to make arrangements for your staying. Secondly, you need to prepare for the meeting. Third, you might need to carry some handouts. You might need to carry some printouts. So you have to prepare for the meeting. You just don't want to be a silent spectator. And since you would probably, if you are one of the speakers, then probably you're going to present before them. So the intimation needs to be sent few days in advance, just because those people who are going to be present, they can prepare themselves well, they can take care of all the logistics well, and they know when to reach, what time to reach, and what's the venue in advance. The fourth, appoint a facilitator. Now we all know that for anything to proceed in the right direction, you need a good driver, right? If you are going for a journey, you need a good driver. Why? Because he will make sure the journey is going to the right direction. Similarly, in the meeting also, you need a good facilitator. Why? Because people who will come, they might just discuss, speak on and on, and the whole subject matter will get derailed. The meeting will not reach to any logical conclusion. So you need somebody to take care of the proceedings of the meeting, to make sure the speakers who have been allocated that time for them do not overshoot the time, or the speakers do not derail from their given topic. Whatever the discussions happen, they happen within the realm of proceedings. Everybody contributes on a constructive basis. So the facilitator makes sure that the points are discussed properly, the conclusion might be reached. Some of the times the conclusion might not be reached. So it's the duty of the facilitator to make sure to take care of these votings and to carry it forward to the next meeting if it is necessary. So that's the role of the facilitator. Now, okay. So let's go to the next requisite of a meeting, which is fifth. You should arrive at clear conclusions and formulate the next steps. Now, many a times, meetings fail to come to clear conclusions about the points mentioned in the agenda or under consideration. Because of whatever reason, some people might be just dominate the proceedings. Some people may want to just kill their time and disrupt the proceedings. Some people will not contribute effectively. The leader of the meeting, he will go on speaking and then just impose his views. So many times the meetings will fail to come to arrive at a clear conclusion. Now, irrespective of the result of the meeting, members of the group are accountable and committed to the resolution taken by them. Okay. So after deliberation on an agenda topic, it is necessary to summarize what has been discussed, state clearly what are the deductions arrived, and decide on the future course of action. The future course of action might be a concrete positive action, or it might be kept on hold for further information to be taken, or kept on hold for further studies to be done on the topic. What is more importantly is that once the meeting is done, then you have to minute it. You have to minute the proceedings. And we've spoken about what are minutes yesterday. So what are minutes is basically, minutes are documents which are prepared to record all what has been done during the course of the meeting. So minutes, obviously I'm going to come about minutes a little later, but minutes have to be prepared, carefully drafted, signed by the preparer, approved by somebody, and then agreed by everybody who was concerned in the meeting. Why? Minutes are important because people have different interpretations of points discussed. People may forget. There is very little recall value. And fourth is that responsibility might just be shirked off. So it is better that all the minutes are properly written, action points are agreed, the responsibilities are laid out clearly, the timelines are mentioned, and after the minutes are written, then ATR is prepared. After the minutes are prepared, signed off, proper action is taken, and based on the actions taken on that point, an ATR is prepared. ATR is a document which is actually, the full form is action taken report, that is prepared by the concerned person, and he gives an account of what steps have been taken, when has he taken steps, and has the point discussed in the meeting been satisfied. Okay. So last, I'm now coming to the last prerequisite of a meeting, requisite of a meeting. That is, we should allow for opportunities for creativity and participation. Now, what happens is that some people might just sit quiet, but they might have very good ideas. Some people might just talk, but they might not have good ideas. It is better to have an all participatory approach. People should contribute. It is a duty of the facilitator, it is a duty of the head of the meeting to actually make sure that brainstorming happens, points are discussed in a more lucid manner. There are a lot of creativity points which have been discussed. Out of the box thinking is encouraged. New ideas come up. So basically, the thing is that creativity should be encouraged as well as participation of everybody should be encouraged. So having said that, these were the requisites of meeting. Let's now, we've already discussed about agenda. We have discussed about minutes of meeting. We discussed about ATR. Now let's go to discuss these in a more detailed manner. Before that, what I will do is that so that it just doesn't become a monologue, let us write, do some exercises and write some minutes of meeting. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. It's already actually shared. So let me read out the question to you. Okay. Now I want you all to write the minutes of a meeting. So you are the senior manager of your company. You are the senior manager of your company. Due to the pandemic, the company had to allow work from home to employees traveling long distances. Others residing close by to attend office thrice a week. So what you are going to do is that you're going to prepare the minutes of a meeting discussing the arrangements and resources to be provided to employees. So you should, in the minutes, you should include the IT staff and the supervisors. So I'm going to give you some tips. I'm going to give you some tips for writing these minutes. So make sure you start off saying why the meeting was called, the objective of the meeting, the date of the meeting, some time of the meeting, venue of the meeting, people who have attended the meeting, people who were absent in the meeting, right? Then you can actually say what all issues were discussed. What all issues were discussed. So you can say somebody said that somebody would have suggested that people stay long distances, so railway trains are not working. So let them work from home. Some people who might like be staying close by, they need not have railways to take the railway, so they can attend office, but at 50% of the office capacity, along with the in line with the municipal guidelines, and also only thrice a week. So all these arrangements, typical arrangements, what have to be done and who has to do. So try to think about that and include people in your team like IT staff, supervisors, admin team, any help that you require. So prepare your minutes in such a way, uh, you're actually visualizing the situation and keeping that situation and writing down the minutes in the format what we have discussed. Okay, so it's 11:25 now. Let me give you about 15 minutes time. Please write the minutes of this. Yeah, please write the minutes for this meeting. Okay, students, I'm just regrouping now. Let's regroup, and I'm going to check the responses given by each of you. So first one, I'm looking at the minutes written by Kanishka. So she's begun the date, time, the objectives she's saying, then participants, yes, absent, correct. Uh, okay, you're talking about what has happened, discussion on what happened, fine, and then vote of thanks. Okay, ATR submitted, fine. But Kanishka, I agree with you. It's a good, well-written minutes. The only thing is that the ATR, I did not understand why ATR has to be submitted. Or okay, you are saying some action has to be taken. Fair enough. Okay, I'm checking the next one. Nikki Arangana Nikila. Okay, number of boards people present and introduction, motivated the people. Fine. Rangana was also done a good job. Rekha is asking a question. Sir, in action taken report, whose name is written in ending? It is the name of the person who has taken the action. Pranjali, minutes, date. Date is mentioned. Time, when you, Pranjali, you need to mention in your minutes that time, as well as the venue also. Objectives you mentioned, who's participants, okay, then supervisor, traveling, fine, fair enough. Okay, you've given a vote of thanks also. Okay, Panjali, just make sure you are having the time of the meeting and the venue also. Shivani, meeting started, okay. Shivani, you can write the venue also. People present. Then you are writing some details. Conclusion, fine. Okay, Harshita, objective, date, meeting, time, finished, location. Okay, Harshita has written location, agenda items. Okay, you can just say items discussed or points. So rather than saying agenda items. Ramesh Yadav gave introduction. Okay, fine. Okay, I'm having a look at what Harshada has written now. So Harshada has also attempted in a fair manner. Vedant is also okay. He's actually Vedant is saying a small tea break was taken in between. Okay, fine. Vedant, a new spin-off. Raghavan. Okay, fine. Fair enough. So I'm just going to see the last 3 or 4 now without going to more details. So Amritpal's I'm going to see. Amritpal course, minutes, date, time, place. Okay, participants she's mentioning. Okay, fine. Discussions, conclusion. Okay, so people have understood how to write minutes. Fair enough. Very nice. And this was actually one of the questions which had come in the mock papers for the exam. So that was what. Let's continue with our discussion again. Okay, I'm stopping the screen sharing. Okay, so we had discussed about the requisites of meeting, and then after that we said that we'll solve one exercise because otherwise, I wanted to see how much involvement you had in the session. Now let's go on the agenda. So we all have discussed what is the agenda. So to again re-emphasize a point, agenda is a document which is prepared for describing the ought to be flow of the meeting, what time people are going to attend, what is the venue, what is the duration of the meeting, which points are going to be discussed, after what sequence, who's going to be the speaker. So the entire blueprint of the intended meeting is documented in the agenda. So what is the need for agenda? See, agenda is a blueprint and it is quite clear that without the agenda, it will be just going haywire. The meeting will go haywire. There will be no discipline in the procedures of meeting. So the main few points which I would like to mention about the need for an agenda is that one, it clearly states the objective and the purpose of the meeting. Second, it informs the topics or the issues to be discussed. Third, it keeps the meeting focused on the issues. Fine. So it prevents the speakers to deviate from the subjects and the issues stated in the agenda. Fourth, it guides the participants to understand and prepare for the rules. 5, allocate times to each specific speaker. 6, inform the sequence in which the members will speak. See, why all this is important because the purpose of meeting is people to come together to discuss in the right manner within the time and to come out with some conclusions, to come out with some actions to be taken. So if they do not have a blueprint or if they do not have a plan in before their hand, so anybody will speak out of turn and for whatever time, and the meeting will be derailed and logical conclusions will not be met. So how would an agenda look like? An agenda would typically look like the heading of the meeting. What's the name of the meeting? The purpose, why it is called, which is the objective. Third, the time when everybody is supposed to come. The date, the venue, the total duration of the meeting, which is to be held. Then all the topics which are going to be discussed one after the other, that will be laid on the agenda. The topics for a specific topic, who's going to be the attendee, who's going to be the speaker, and what is the duration. Why all this is important is because we got only a specific time, and it is important to respect everybody's time and make sure the meeting is arranged and organized within that particular period of time. So I'm going to quickly share with you how a typical agenda looks like, and we'll discuss that. Okay, students, over here you can see an example of a tabular agenda. Example of a tabular agenda. So just have a look at the columns. There are 5 columns. There are 5 columns. So first column is the time. Second is the topic. Third is the attendees. Fourth is the speaker. Fifth is the duration. So look at this. Look at what can you infer from this agenda. You can see the meeting is going to start at 9 a.m. The meeting is going to start at 9 a.m. The meeting might end in 3 hours. So that is why your introduction happens at 9 a.m. and the vote of thanks, the thank you vote, is for 10 minutes, and that starts at 11:50. So for 10 minutes, which is from 11:50 to 12 noon, you are going to have the vote of thanks. So 3-hour meeting. In the 3-hour meeting, you are having an introduction for 15 minutes. You are going to have 2 discussions. So one discussion on the new product. Somebody is going to speak on the project report. A 20-minute tea break. Then another 2 sessions. One is on market trends and costing. And then the house is open for questions and discussions for participants. And the last is a thank you note. So if you see this, within the 5 columns, which are time, topic, attendees, speaker, duration, the entire 3 hours session is nicely planned out. So there's a room for people to introduce the names of the participants, the names of the speakers. There's also some time allocated for thanking everybody, which is at the last, for the last 10 minutes. In between, so that people are not getting bored, there's a 20-minute tea break also, right? From 10:15 a.m. to 10:35 a.m., you will have a tea break. And since the purpose of any meeting is to discuss things, to debate on certain issues and problems, and come up with a decision, come up with a conclusion, right? So you should have a lot of questions, answers bouncing, a lot of discussions happening. So what has been done in this particular example, if you look at the row which is titled as 11:30 a.m., if you have a look at that, there will be open house. There will be open house for 20 minutes, and it will comprise questions and discussions from the participants. So there, all the points will be discussed, the points will be agreed upon, the future course will be decided, action points will be noted, who's going to do what and what time frame, everything is going to be noted. So a person who's going to write the minutes, okay, a person who's going to write the minutes, he will use this. He'll use this. Why? Because it actually gives you the time-wise details. It gives you topics which are going to discuss. It gives people who are going to speak. Of course, there might be some absentees. So when you write the minutes, you'll have people who are present and people who are absent. But by and large, an agenda is a good tool. Agenda is a good document which you can use while you make the minutes. So having had a look at this tabular format of agenda, right? Now let us see another format of agenda, right? So look at this. So you have a meeting information, which is the first title. So you got objective, you got time, you got date, you got location. We've discussed this. So objective, let's say, is to discuss the performance in the previous month. Date, today's date, 15th of October, 2021. Time, 11:45 in the morning. Location, head office at Churchgate. Fine. So this is the starting. Then you will have all the agenda items. So this is one below the other. It's simple in a way because it just talks about the items you're going to be done or discussed, and as well as the presenter. Where this is a different from the previous example is that in the previous example, actually everybody was getting specific time. Everybody was getting, each and every item was getting specific time. So very little room was left to have a free time in between. So that entire 3 hours program was nicely arranged, introduction with sessions for discussion, with a tea break, with other sessions, then the open house for discussion, and then vote of thanks. Well, that is a tabular format. This is another format for writing agenda. Now, in the exam, they might ask you to write in a tabular format. If they ask you to write in a normal way, you can write it in this manner. But I would imagine, tabular format has got more details to be written. So this is one of the agenda templates, and this is in the study material, which is in the Board of Studies study material given by the ICAI. Okay, fine. So let's go to the next topic. Minutes. We've discussed not many times about minutes. Minutes, also known as protocols or informal notes, are the instant record of a meeting or hearing. Okay. So whatever has happened during those 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour of meeting, it is actually a written record of what has transpired. So this typically describes the events. Number one, the events of the meeting, whatever has happened, events of the meeting. Second, list of attendees or participants. Third, statement of issues considered by the participants. Fourth, related responses. Fifth, any decision taken. Now, this definition is from Wikipedia, right? So by and large, we know that minutes is information or the actual written record of whatever has happened, whatever has transpired during the course of that particular meeting. So what it will state, if you really visualize that what time it was, where it was held, for how much time it was held, who all were present, who all were absent, who all have presented their points, who were the speakers, who were the attendees, what matters were discussed, were there any disagreements, were there any points agreed upon, who is going to take responsibility, what action is going to take, in what time is the item going to be satisfied or resolved. So everything what is discussed, including some chairperson or a secretary or a facilitator actually welcoming the guests. Or welcoming the participants, and somebody proposing the vote of thanks. So everything will be in the minutes. Now, yesterday also I've told you that every point in a corporate, what happens is that every point which is being put to vote or discussed, somebody the resolution has to be proposed and somebody has to second it. A team meeting or any meeting, we might also have breaks, for some tea breaks, coffee breaks. So even that also a person can record it. Now let's go to the need for preparing minutes. Now, one is that various participants may have different recollections of the meeting. A person, it depends upon your interpretations and different recollections. You see a square, you see an object, one person might say that object is square in shape, the other person might say it's rectangular in shape, the third person might say it's a quadrilateral in shape. So different interpretations, different recollections. So people would have different connotations of what actually happened. Diverse interpretations. People might retain something, people might forget something. So important tasks can be forgotten. Then dates of submission of the subject matter, report, action taken point, plan might be overlooked. This is very important, right? Because what is the objective of meeting is to discuss, take decisions, and arrive at conclusion. So what is it? What is the conclusion? Take some action. Who's going to take action? That person who's accountable. And third, the timeline. The timeline within which the action has to be taken. So if the minutes of the meeting are not written, you would actually forget. You might overlook. Somebody would say, "Arey, I forgot." But if the minutes are written and it is signed off by everybody, then he's also accountable that, okay, I've signed off, this matter was discussed, I've signed off the minutes, I have to perform. Then minutes is a good return to a record. See, public memory is very short. Our human memory is very short. So whatever has happened, whatever was discussed, let's say 2 months back, 3 months back, you will forget. So for any ready reference, for any future times, if anyone wants to go through what was the purpose of the discussion, what points were discussed, what was a debate done, like was there a new idea which has been discussed, was an agreement reached. So this written record will always be available for ready reference. Again, minutes of meeting will be used as a reminder for your own self as also others, right? And obviously we said it can be required for legal reasons. Suppose there's a legal case against the company or the company files a legal case. So if you have got a written record of that point, then you can use that for your as a evidence. You can use it for one of your supporting documents while you are fighting a legal case. Okay, now let's go to the next point, which is steps in writing the minutes. Okay, now as we said, steps in writing minutes, there are 5 main steps for writing the minutes of meetings. One is pre-planning. Second is actually taking record or notes of the meeting. Third is actually writing the minutes. Fourth is sharing the minutes. Fifth is filing the minutes for future use. So let's discuss one by one all these points. I'm stopping the screen sharing for a moment. Okay, so let's discuss the steps for in writing the minutes. The first is pre-planning. We already discussed what's the agenda. Now in the agenda, all the points, like the time, the venue, the duration, the number, the people, participants of the meeting, the points to be discussed, when these to be discussed, the allocated time, the other points to be considered apart from speaking by the speakers. Everything is written down. So an agenda is a very good tool for writing the minutes. So try to use a similar order and numbering of items. Note down people who have attended the meeting. Note down people who were absent of the meeting. Fine. Now, during the meeting, there will be some printouts, there will be some handouts. So make sure you use them while you are preparing the minutes. And make sure the minutes give a factual representation of the reality during the meetings. Do not over-exaggerate. Do not downplay the points. Make it a factual representation. So this is, like making sure that, you are, the pre-planning is done. Second is actually record taking. So thing is that what you have to do is that make sure you have recorded everything. Of course, you have to take prior permission of the people who have, that a recording will happen. So point by point, what everything was discussed, any objections raised, any conclusions were reached, whatever has been discussed, including breaks taken in between. So if you have got a ready record, so make sure you use that record, right? Now, also make sure when you're recording, people who were present, people who were absent, and then after the pre-planning stage, after the recording stage, then you actually going to write the minutes. So make sure you use the agenda, use whatever is the recorded transcripts, you use the handouts or printouts which are issued during the course of meeting. Make all these documents and incorporate in your minutes. Once you do the first draft, revise it, do another reading. Make sure that the audience who's going to receive it, they understand in a clear and concise manner. Also, do one thing: after you write your minutes, give it for a review and approval by your senior. Why? Because even he will have his line of thinking, a different point of view for thinking, and he will probably add things which you might have missed. So once the draft, and also make sure that whatever you write in the minutes, there are no grammatical errors, because this you work in corporates and it is expected that the tone should be right, it should be free from grammatical errors. Unnecessary, do not get into personal things about anybody. And in case you are using any reference material, please use it as an appendix. And once you have the draft ready, you get it approved, then you can circulate it to the people. Now, all the attendees, they will get to see the minutes. If they have any objections, they can come back to you, and then you have to revise the minutes. Once the minutes are all signed off, agreed by everybody, and then you have to file it for a future use and make sure the records are kept properly. So either you can take a printout and file a physical copy, or within the servers, you can have separate folders for writing the minutes. Having said that, let's come back. I'll show you one example. Just a minute, please. Okay, let me go to the practice sessions of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India study material. 1 second. Okay, this is a practice exercise which has been given in your study material. So I'm just reading it out to you. The Managing Committee of Bharat Shiksha Institute has decided to bring changes in the English and accountancy syllabus for the first year course. Okay, so there are some changes which they have in English and accounting syllabus. They want to get in some changes, the Managing Committee. Mr. Kamal Kapoor, who is the academic dean of the institute, has been assigned the task of convening a meeting of all stakeholders. Okay, so the dean has been assigned the task of convening a meeting of all stakeholders. So one is the subject matter expert, two college lecturers, students, and members of the print and print publishing department. Why? To decide the necessary alterations in the syllabi. Okay, so Kamal Kapoor is the academic dean of the institute. Kamal Kapoor is the academic dean of the institute. So as Kamal Kapoor, okay, you are going to set an agenda for the meeting. Set an agenda for a meeting. You have the tabular format of the meeting, for the agenda of the meeting, right? You can use that. In that, the suggestions for discussions are: review previous syllabus, identify redundant topics, suggest inclusion of latest relevant content, include constructive and useful content from student point of view, discuss time frame for completion of revamping, right? So this is the agenda, right? Now, since you're Mr. Kamal Kapoor, one is that you are going to set an agenda, right? You are going to inform your secretary, Ms. Swati Singh, to write the minutes. Third, submit an action taken report to the managing committee. So it's three things. One, you have to write an agenda. You have to write an agenda about this meeting, right? Second, you are, as Swati Singh, Swati Singh, who is the secretary of Kamal Kapoor, she is going to write the minutes of the meeting, right? A third is an action taken report has to be submitted by somebody who has been interested in the action to the managing committee. Fine. Now, what the institute's study is saying, each section should be written in about 200 words. So each section, please spend some good amount of time in writing. Give it a good thought. Improvise in the language, improvise in the content. Don't just do it in a hurry. What we would like to know is that how much you are going to think creatively about the matters which are going to be discussed. So that's the agenda. Matters that could have been discussed, which is the minutes and the action taken report. So as we have said, that once you have the agenda ready, assuming the same agenda is used and followed, with the exceptions of new points or with the exceptions of points not agreed. Also, people would have remained absent. You can write down the minutes about points agreed, points not agreed, people present, people not present. So use the agenda also as a tool. And finally, third is you are going to submit an action taken report. So what I would imagine is that they are expecting you to write each section. So I want you to write each section in about 200 words. So in about 200 words, please attempt doing this exercise. And what we will do is that I will give you five minutes each, right? To first you will write the agenda, use a tabular format of agenda. Then we will discuss it. Then, as Swati Singh, you will write the minutes of the meeting, right? Then we will discuss it. The third is the action taken report, which you will write and then we'll discuss it. Okay. So time is 12:04 now. So by 12:10, I would imagine that you would, or let's say 12:11, please write in the agenda and I will discuss that with you. I'm keeping the screen open because then you'll get this agenda points over here. Yeah, hello. Yeah, I've started to review your agenda. First is Kanishka. Uh, okay, Kanishka is writing about Kanishka. If your format is very good, you use the right format. The only thing what I would advise you is that please develop the points because like the overall format is excellent, but in between also like you need to say what exactly has to be like discussed. So like if you can like bring some more batter to your points, then it will be a good point because the agenda is matters to be discussed, right? So that Mr. Kamal Kapoor is talking about changing in the accounting and English syllabus. So if you could have just try to have that kind of flavor also when you're writing the agenda. Otherwise, the format is very good. Okay, any other responses? Any other responses I should check? Let's wait. Okay, Soumya is saying in the textbook, I don't know which textbook you're using, Soumya. I cannot talk about that. Subati. Subati has used location, topic, attendee, speaker. Okay. So Suba, I will also tell you the same thing what I told Kanishka. Your format is a tabular format, that is okay. But if you can, like of course, in this chat window, I cannot see much, but if you can put more kind of detail in those points, individual points, it would be much appreciated. Pranjali has also used a tabular format. I can see that. Same, whatever I've told to Suma and Kanishka, I think Pranjali, the same applies to you, even for Berna also. See, just don't bake it for the sake of doing it. What you should do is that you should try to apply some kind of thought process also into it while writing agenda. Okay, Soumya is saying ICAI material only. Yeah, you can use that. You can. Yeah, Soumya. That's ICAI material, which I'm showing you is from ICAI. Yeah. Okay, is there anybody who else wants to submit their answers? Is there any other person who wants to submit answers? I'll wait for 2 more minutes. Then we can go to the minutes. Come on, students. Come on, I need some contributions, some more responses from your end. Okay, Harshita has given her Akanksha, Anushka. Okay. Okay. Harshita, Akanksha, Anushka use the same tabular format, but try to bring in more details, right? Try to bring in more details. Just don't use a format for the sake of using the format. Format is also good, but like in the question itself, they had clearly said what to use. Like for example, if you can see this, if you can see this session, one second, let me go to this. Okay. Okay, this is a screen you are saying. It is very clearly written. Set an agenda for meeting. So review previous syllabus, identify redundant topics, suggest inclusion. They are giving you suggestions. What has to be written? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 points they've actually mentioned. My only request to all of you is that make use of the material what is given in the question. Also try to improvise on that. Rashmi, you are saying you did not understand this question properly. Well, Rashmi, we had asked you to write the agenda as per the details given, and people have attempted that. So Subhati, okay, Subhati's time is not sufficient. Fine, I understand that. If time is not sufficient, well, Subha, it all depends upon how much time you have in the exams. I am sure you are intelligent enough to, like make sure you are allocating time. Because at this moment, I cannot comment how many marks the examiner is going to ask you, and that marks is how much proportion of total marks and the total time. So I will not be able to comment on it. So okay, fine, fair enough. I'm not going to review any more answers. Now, same. Okay, last one, Shraddha. Okay, last one is Shraddha and Akash Neel. Okay, Shraddha has probably, yeah, Shraddha has made use of the format. She's made use of the points also which have been given. I think Shraddha, you've done a good attempt. Even I think Akash Neel has also used the format. Yes, but try to use a format, try to use a language which is given in the questions, and also try to develop those points. Yeah. So let me go back to that screen now. Okay. Now same question, right? I'm again repeating the question. The managing committee of Bharat Shiksha Institute has decided to bring changes in the English and accountancy syllabus. Okay. The dean, who is Kamal Kapoor, has been assigned the task of convening a meeting of all stakeholders. Stakeholders are subject experts, college lecturers, students, and members of print and print publishing department to decide the necessary alterations in the syllabi. So first, the agenda you already written. Now Kamal Kapoor is asking his secretary, Swati Singh, to write the minutes of the meeting, right? You should now write the minutes of the meeting. Use the points which are mentioned in the agenda. Use the points which are given in the question also. Develop the points. Don't just give me heading, date, time, location, duration, but try to impose in the points. Have one person who would have welcomed everybody. Have somebody giving vote of thanks. Use some points for actual discussions. Some suggestions are also given in the question. So the time is 12:17 now. I would request all of you to complete it in the next 10 minutes. So I'm going to ask you your replies by 12:27 or 12:28. Yeah, all the best. You are supposed to write the minutes of the meeting. Minutes. You already written the agenda. Now write the minutes of the meeting. Hello. Is it audible now? Okay. Please make sure that when you are writing the minutes of the meeting, you are writing the time, date, location, overall duration, somebody welcoming everybody, somebody thanking the guests, thanking the attendees, and all the points discussed. Okay. So we are going to regroup after some time. I want to do a fairly good job on writing the minutes. All the best. So you are making session. What is offline? Okay, okay, for the next 6, 7 minutes, you can put on break. Yeah. Okay. So let me start reviewing your responses. Let me start reviewing your responses. Okay, Kanishka is given the first response. Minutes of the meeting. She's given the date, the time, location, duration, participants. She's saying we're talking about absent. Fine. Okay, good attempt. Good attempt by Kanishka. Yeah, I've seen hers. Yeah. And then the next one is Pranjali. So date, venue, time, objective. She's writing. Fine. Introduction. She's also talking about tea break. She's writing good points. Okay, fine. Good attempt, Pranjali. Good attempt. Yeah. Then I'm having a look at what Anushka has written. Date, meeting, room, venue, duration. Yeah, Anushka, I just want to give you a suggestion is that in the question itself, they are given points, to be included in agenda. And I said, whatever is in agenda, you can make use of those points in the minutes. So otherwise your format is good, but try to bring in more details as to what exactly happened. And those clues were given in the question itself. Yeah, that's the only thing. Yash is, he's writing in a good way. So participants appreciated. Yeah, Yash, whatever I've said, I mean, you've used the right format, but whatever I've told to Anushka, you can use the same thing, same tips. Even Harshada also, Gaurendra also. Manisha is written in a different way. She's used a different language, but overall her format is good. So what I'm trying to do is that, see, in the question itself, a lot of points were given. So you can make use of those points, like to, and also you should develop it, because the idea is that, you have to write the minutes. So you have to visualize that something would have happened. Those questions, agenda was there. The points to be mentioned in the agenda were there. We have discussed that. So those points would have been discussed, and you need to be, visualizing that what really would have happened. Yeah, but very good attempts. I'm seeing this. Subha has written it quite well. Yeah. Harshita has used the right format. Harshita could have used the points in the question as also. Well, Fatima is saying, sir, in meeting they will appoint any person for recording in minutes. You can insert that in the minutes, saying that XYZ was the chairperson and he asked ABC to take notes of the meeting or the minutes of the meeting. Yeah, you can mention that. Isra Zareen Mohammed. Yeah, okay. It's the same thing. You can make use of the points mentioned in that question itself. Sanjay JY, fair enough. Okay. So by and large, people have attempted it in a very good manner. I'm just going to have a look at the last three. One is Shraddha, Akash, and Priyanka. So Priyanka, objective, date, time, place, participants present, absent. Okay. So Priyanka, you've done a good job, yeah, but also try to use the points given in the question. Akash Neil also has done a good job. Even Shraddha has also attempted well. So fair enough, so very good. So now let's go back to the question. Right? Let us go back to the question. So now you have written the agenda. Now you written the minutes. Now in the minutes, it was mentioned that action taken report would be submitted to the managing committee. Now all what you have to write is an action taken report. So somebody would have been given a responsibility to do some action within a timeline. So he's expected to do it. He's expected to write a report. So based upon this entire history of changing the syllabus, discussion points, I would like you to write action taken report to the managing committee. And you already have points. I'm keeping the screen on because then you can take points from this. Yeah. So the time is 12:33. I'll give you 5 minutes to jot down the action taken report. Yeah. All the best. ICAI. ICAI. Hello. ICAI BOS BC. Are you there? Okay, I am now reviewing the responses for the action taken report. The first response I'm checking is of Anushka Gupta. Anushka is saying the report is dated 12th of October. As per the meeting held on 5th of October at the meeting room, following actions have been reported. It will be changed. See, you cannot say will be changed, is changed. It is will be changed. Action taken report is already report, action has been taken. Please be careful about the words. Please be careful about the English and the grammar and tense. Again, the second point, Anushka, I'm saying, you are saying will be included. It cannot be will be included. It is either it is included or will not be included or will be included after further discussion. So I think Anushka, what you can do is that you can refer to the study material again, because I think you have not really understood the meaning of that action taken report. The format appears to be good, but action taken report is a report after you have taken action. You are still talking as if you know you are going to do some action. So please check your concepts about action taken report. Okay, this was for Anushka. Then I'm checking one for Pranjali. Now Pranjali is saying has been elevated, has been included. Okay, so Pranjali, you've done a good job. I think that is what was expected. The right language you've written, and you've done justice to the report, action taken report. Shubham, you also have not followed exactly how to write the reports format. Action taken reports format is okay, Shubham Gupta, but same mistakes what earlier were done by Anushka. You are still talking as if you know like the actions will be taken. It is not like that. Check your concepts. Students, be clear that an action taken report is prepared after the action is taken. After पहले action होता है फिर उसके बारे में report लिखा जाता है. You cannot say in the action taken report that this we will do, this can be done, this will be seen. Either you have done or not done. If you are not done, why you have not done? Right? Please understand. Please have a relook at your ICAI study material. Okay, I'm going to review Kanishka's action taken report now. Kanishka, you also made the same mistakes. See, you have to be very careful when you're writing it in English. Make sure the tense is written correctly. You are also saying that this will be done, this can be done. Action taken report is prepared after you make the action. Okay, I'm checking the next one. Okay, so Manisha Suta's action taken report appears to be good. Harshita, I'm going to check. In Harshita's action taken report, there is one point she's saying questions asked should be straightforward and not confusing. I'm not understanding what she's written. Otherwise, it is okay. Akanksha's report I've checked. It's fine. Harshada also it appears to be fine. But Arshada, you are saying will be with effect from 1st of June. What action you have written? It is not clear. Please take a relook at that. Okay, Shraddha, you've done the action taken report. The format is good, but there is no signature of the person who's done it. Name and the signature of the person. So students, I'm going to just check the last 2 or 3 now. Isra Zareen Mohammed. Okay, fine, fair enough. Palachada is changed, created, fine. Fine. Mukta. Mukta is also fine. Okay, so basically, I think some of the students still have a confusion on the action taken report, ATR which is action taken report. See, just understand logic, the logical flow. There is an agenda, then the minutes, the meetings happen. After the meetings happen, then you write the minutes. In the minutes, you also might have a responsibility given to persons, action to be taken, and a timeline. Okay, minutes are circulated, everything is being agreed on. Then that concerned person, he will do some action. He's going to take some action, right? So once he acts upon that, either it will be positive action or he will fail in his report, but his actions. But still, he has to give a report. He has to give a report because that is what is been decided in the meeting and minuted. So action taken report should always be on the actions taken. It cannot be that action will be taken. So people are still getting confused. I don't want a confusion to go off. And obviously, it cannot be just a action taken report. Somebody should sign and also, put the name. So please mention that as well. Fine, fair enough. So students, now it is 12:40, 4:45. We have covered a lot of things during the last three lectures. Now I'm leaving the floor open. You can ask me questions. We've got another 15 minutes of time. You can ask me questions if you want. Otherwise, more or less, people have understood. I think you've understood the concepts of meeting. You've understood the concepts of agenda, the concept of writing minutes, action taken report. Please take a look at the syllabus, at the ICAI study material also. There are some exercises given at the end of it. The answers also given. So have a look at it, and I'm sure you will do well with exams. So Sahil is asking, why are you not answering my query? What is word limit of agenda, minutes, and ATR? Now, Sahil, you are going. This actually depends upon the marks, right? If they are asking you to write a detailed agenda, you have to write a detailed agenda. If you're there to write detailed minutes, you have to write a detailed minutes. So have a look at the marks. If it's going to be only a 4-mark question, you should take a discretionary call upon the matter to be inserted and a detailed required. Some of the questions might, like in this particular question, they were saying about 200 per word should be written. So if they are saying, you can follow that. Otherwise, you have to take a call that if that is so much in marks which is expected, you can write according to the marks of the question. So Sahil, in this particular question, it was clearly said each section should be written in about 200 words. So I think it is very crystal clear that if they're saying 200 words, in about 200 words, it is 200 words. You have to follow the question, right? Suppose if it is not written, then you have to use your discretion. How many marks the question is asked? So Mukta is asking a question. What is the motto for preparing minutes of meeting? Mukta, I'm not understanding motto. Are you talking about objective? If it is objectives for preparing minutes, yes, because then people have a short memory. The interpretations can be different. The responsibilities, timeline, actions taken will be forgotten. People will overlook. In case you need it for legal references, you might not have the papers ready. Prem is asking a question. In exam, all the topics will ask or any? It actually depends, Prem, on the examiner's uh, uh, wish. I'm not the examiner, so I will not be able to answer this question. Vinayak is asking, can we present agenda in table format? See, have a look at the study material given by the ICAI. Please take a look. Please read it. It is mentioned over there. Akash Dil is asking, do we have to write the objective, date, time, venue, duration in the particular order? See, it is better to write the objective, date, time, venue, duration. Yes, you can write it in this order by writing the minutes. You can change also. I mean, objective is probably very important. Date, time, venue, duration. Why? It is good order, right? Whatever you're mentioning, it's a good order. Mukta is asking a question. What type of question can come from meeting chapter? Mukta, I am not the examiner, so I cannot tell you this. I am not a test paper setter. I am not examiner. I cannot comment on this question. So hope all of you have understood what is the purpose of meetings. How is the agenda supposed to be written? How the minutes supposed to be drafted? What is action taken report? See, these are not very hard items on your syllabi. So do a good reading. I'm sure you will do well in your exams. Write in a good language. Be very careful about your English because your tenses, errors in your tenses, errors in your spelling mistakes also are important. Will be considered. Especially the action taken report, I found that people are still talking as if it's in a future tense language. So by and large, write well, study well, write well, prepare well, and come out in flying colors in your examination. Yes, I mean we can close it if you want. Yeah, so should we